Hi there. I see we've got a couple folks watching. Cletos, thanks for saying hi. We have absolutely no idea what we're doing. We set up this camera, and I've got this ridiculous clunky headset, and I figured we'd try out our live stream. Now, I just posted it to Twitter and to our discussion board, so I figure a few folks will drop in, and I'd love to answer some questions for people who are here. We'll do this again a little later with a little more practice and a little more timing, but I thought it'd be fun to just throw it up and see who dropped in to say hello. So if any of you who are watching want to ask me any questions, you can jump right over into YouTube chat and type those in. And if there's any problems, if you have trouble hearing me or anything like that, let me know in there as well. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat and seeing what happens. In the meantime, while we're waiting, might as well make something while I'm waiting for you guys to ask some questions. So I'm going to grab, just because I've got all the parts handy, I'm going to grab a little scrap of plastic, and we'll do a little trace of something on this plastic. So I haven't even thought about what we want to do here. What about, oh gosh, I can try and do a really ugly rendition of our logo. And for those of you just joining, if you've got any questions, throw them in the YouTube chat. I would love to answer any questions that you've got. So let's see, where can I find our logo? You'd think I'd have something with our logo on it. Oh, there we go. I'll use a Glowforge here for inspiration. So I'm going to draw our logo on this piece of material, and I'm going to do a terrible job of it because I'm not much of an artist, but we'll see what we can do. Here we go. And there's this one. And there's that. So, as you can see, this requires absolutely no artistic skill whatsoever. A toddler could have drawn this and probably would have done a better job, but it'll serve our purposes right here. I'm going to take this and put it in Glowforge. So you can see we've got the internal lights there. And I'm putting it inside, close this up. Now let's go take a look at the software. And for anybody who's just joining, happy to answer any questions that you've got. You can head over into the live chat and just type the questions into chat. I'm keeping an eye, and if there's anything I can tell you about, I'd love to do that. So I'm going to show you here. We're going to take a picture of, grab a picture of what's currently in the bed of Glowforge, and you can see there is that utterly ridiculous attempt at our logo that I drew. And we got that on screen. People can see the comedy here. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to tell the Glowforge software that I want to trace that and engrave anything that's black and cut out the outline. So watch how I do that. First, I'm going to draw this little loop. Say, yep, that's my ridiculous thing. I'm going to click here to say cut all that out. And what is left is about the ugliest version of our logo you've ever seen, but that's okay. I'm going to hit the print button here. And now what you see is the cut path is actually superimposed on top of the actual material. And at this point, I could resize it. I can drag it around. I can make it bigger or smaller. I'm going to leave it right there, so it's going to cut on top of the lines that I drew. But if I wanted to, I could take this scan and experiment with it. And then finally, I'm going to click print. Now, when I click print, you can see it's actually sending it up to our servers in the Google Cloud. And then they are going to send it back down to Glowforge. You can see it's already calculated how long it's going to take. It's previewing what's happening. You can see first it's showing the engraving that goes down, and then it's going to show the cutout, which is going to zigzag back and forth and all around. So I'm going to go over and hit the print button so we can actually see this go. And that was mad skills in drawing. Thank you to Scylla. I appreciate it. I didn't go to 10 years of art school. I didn't go to any art school. I have no artistic abilities. But, you know, when we were at Maker Faire, we actually had 150 people draw. Bring it right over here. Get in so you can see it. Had 150 people draw and do prints in one day, and most of them were kids. It was pretty cool that as powerful as this is and as neat as the stuff you can make, it's so simple, even somebody like me can use it. So, all right, let's hit the button. 3, 2, 1. So you can see this spring to life. And you can see it's going back and forth right now, doing what's called a raster engrave. So it's taking the black lines, and it's firing the laser with precision down to 1,000th of an inch, so it's 1000 DPI resolution, to engrave over the drawing. When it's done, it's then going to go back and it's going to cut out and move all around the outside. So because Maya, our awesome mechanical engineering intern and camerawoman, her arms are going to get tired here, we go back over, and happy to answer some questions if we've got any while we're waiting for that to finish. Anyone have anything that they'd like to know about Glowforge? Otherwise, I will just pontificate about, oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to show off some of my favorite stuff at the table over here. Maya, do you mind bringing the camera? So this is just some of the bench of stuff that we've made. And some of it you may have seen in the video that we showed, like the paper crown that was actually done. You can see there's 3 different layers of paper in different colors that are contrasting. Some of these are things we haven't shown before, like this is actually a lamp. I made 2 of them for our bedside table, and then my wife was mildly annoyed because I had to steal one of them. But you can see these louvers are tilted, and it's actually designed specifically for my bedside in that the louvers are tilted so the light hits me and not my wife, and the one on her side is exactly the same. I see I just got a question. When will production begin? So we're going to do the first run in December, and we're going to get some of those in the hands of some of the highest volume users, places like makerspaces, libraries, especially focused around Seattle, because frankly, if we're going to ship something that's going to have a problem and break, we want to know about it early. So we're going to get those in the hands of people who are going to beat on them really hard, use them a lot, and see how that goes. If everything's great, fantastic, we can go straight into production and we can start shipping out quickly. Otherwise, we'll fix whatever the problems are and get things out, and there'll be some delay before starting. Our goal is to have everything shipped by the end of the first half of 2015, so before August. So I'll show you some of the other things we've got here. Oh, actually, no, we're still rastering. When we're down to cutting, I'll go over and show you that. This is something that didn't make it into the video, but it's something I think is kind of cool. It is a travel box that you can see the top slides off. It has internal trays. These trays are laser cut. The felt is laser cut. This is actually seaweed that's encased in resin. And we used to keep a whole bunch of laser cut stuff in here. When I was traveling and showing people how this worked, I would use this box as to hold everything. So you can see it's got compartments for the spice jar, for jewelry, for the Settlers of Catan tiles, and all that good stuff. So let's see. So the question asked was, so does the information in the Glowforge come from the server? And what is the purpose of the server? Great question. Put this down. So when you get your Glowforge, it's going to have a Wi-Fi connection. Now the first thing you're going to do is from your laptop or from your phone, you're going to connect to that Wi-Fi, and you'll see a configuration page that lets you tell Glowforge which Wi-Fi network to connect to. And that's how you get Glowforge connected to the internet. At that point, Glowforge talks to, oh, we're done. Glowforge talks to servers in Google's cloud, which are private servers that we lease to operate Glowforge. Glowforge talks to those servers, and you use the interface that you just saw to log into those servers and send the job to your Glowforge. You get to decide for your Glowforge who has permission to send it. So we can see how our completely ridiculous Dan's Doodle logo turned out. You can see acrylic comes with a protective white paper on it. Actually, it's usually brown, but we get stuff with the white paper on it because it makes it easier to go draw, just like you saw. So artistic skills like mine can truly shine. So that print was automatically because we haven't figured that part out yet. But as soon as let's go put the, we'll go back over, I'll look at some more questions, and we'll give the camera a second to power up. Okay, we've got video back. So as soon as Maya gets the camera back into position, I'll show you this. So the server actually feeds the data down to your Glowforge, giving it very detailed instructions. Now normally, there's a few steps in driving a CNC machine, like Glowforge. You create your design, and for example, a design might be a square. Then you create something called G-code, which says, first, go from wherever you are to the top left corner, then go to the top right corner, then go down, then go left, then go up. And then finally, there's the motion plan. The motion plan says, you need to go faster, 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 slower, 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 now stop, now start going right, faster, 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 turn on the laser. And it's actually the ones and zeros that go to the motor. Glowforge does all of this in the server, which means that the software and hardware we need to ship in the Glowforge itself are much less complicated. And it's one of the reasons that we can sell this device for $2,000 instead of the many times more that is typical for devices like this. So the server is actually what gets the file that you send up to it. You can upload an Illustrator file, all sorts of designs. If you scan something like I just did, that goes up to the server, and then the server creates the motion plan and sends it down to the Glowforge, so it gets the ones and zeros. Let's see. Is there a chance that the 50% discount ever comes back into play? I don't know what pricing our future holds. What we know is that right now we're able to sell directly to you. What's going to happen in the future is that we'll have retailers. So once we've got full production and we're shipping these things, there are going to be retailers who want to sell these. And retailers, obviously, they buy from us at one price, like wholesale, and sell at another price, which is retail. And you know the old late night thing, we save so much because we sell it to you wholesale. As cheesy as that sounds, that's more or less what's going on. We get to sell this to you directly during the pre-order campaign. At some point later, there'll be retailers, and we'll sell it to them wholesale, and they'll sell it at some retail price. So I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what pricing winds up looking like. But what we do know is that this is a really good price. This is not a price where we make a meaningful profit on each machine that we sell. This is one where we can reach out to people who are excited, who are passionate, who are some of our early adopters, and can basically help us learn what's possible to do with this machine, because every time somebody new gets their hands on one of these things, we're amazed with what they come up with. For those people who are just joining us, this is a spontaneous last-minute live cast. We want to see if we could get this working. We've got a camera we haven't used before. We're streaming to YouTube, which we haven't done before. We're doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's a little last minute, and it's a little slapped together. For that, I apologize. Got these stylish headphones from which I cannot hear you. But we thought it'd be a fun way to try this out, and then we'll do something in the future that's a little more scheduled. And I think we've got time for one more question. So I'm going to go look at the YouTube chat and notes. And are there specific materials that are Glowforge compatible and some that aren't? And can you recommend software for designing products for beginners before diving into Adobe Illustrator? What are you using for ventilation filtration right now? Oh, there's so many good things. Okay, I'm going to just bang through these real quick and then say goodbye. What are we using for ventilation filtration right now? The one we have up here is a filtration unit from a third-party company. We've got our prototype cases and we've got our prototype filters, and they're not in the same place yet, so we can't all put them up here and have them running. We'll look forward to showing you some of those as they come online. We basically have the stuff here that's ready for show and tell, and we have the stuff in the back that's not ready for show and tell yet. Then the next one was software for designing for beginners. Fusion 360 is great CAD software that you can use for free as a student or for educational use or for personal use. That's great for heavy-duty CAD software. SketchUp is really quick to learn and easy to use. I believe they have a free version as well. Inkscape is great software to go take the output of those and design in it. And frankly, if you don't want to do 3D design, and most of the stuff here doesn't require it, you can just start with Inkscape. And of course, a pen and pencil is great. You can actually draw things, scan them either on a traditional scanner or by putting them in the Glowforge. That's how we made things like our Settlers of Catan board, which you may have seen briefly in the video at glowforge.com. This is actually done in pen and paper. It wasn't done using any digital tools at all. Are there specific materials? Organic materials work great. Plastics need to be checked for laser compatibility. In particular, any plastic that has chlorine in it, like vinyl, is not compatible with the laser, but acrylic and Delrin are great plastics to use with lasers. And let's see, are materials that are compatible and some that aren't? Right. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. We're going to have to get off now. We just lost one of our camera people, and the other one's going to have to go in a second. So thanks so much for joining for this sort of spontaneous Q&A. I will continue to be on community.glowforge.com. I'm there almost every day answering questions for Glowforge owners. Anybody can view it. Only owners can post. Support at glowforge.com if you're having any sort of problems. We have a huge backlog, but we're getting through those as fast as we can. And I look forward to doing this again sometime soon. Thanks so much for tuning in.